How's everybody doing today? Back again with another video for you guys and gals. And today, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to make this video talking about some features that I feel what I would consider my dream device would have. So, this is in no particular order or anything like that. We're just going to go over a few things that can be implemented today that can go into a future device or that is in a device that's already out, that if combined, if all these things were combined, I would consider that my dream device. So, jumping right in, y'all see I have a collection of devices here, and each of these devices has a feature that I would consider a must-have. Okay? So, without further ado, the first thing I want to talk about with you guys is the hardware. Now, I'm not big on hardware packing the device. As long as the device has the said hardware to do everything that I need it to do, then I'm okay. So starting off, let's talk about the RAM. As long as my dream device has anywhere from about 4 to 6 gigs of RAM, I'd be okay with that. I don't need 8 gigs of RAM. I don't need a whole bunch of RAM. As long as it can do everything that I need it to do in a timely, on a daily basis and not slow down or hiccup and still have a bunch of apps open in the background, I'm okay with that. So if it had like 4 gigs of RAM, like my LG G6 here, or 4 gigs of RAM like my Essential phone here, I'm okay with that. Now, in terms of onboard storage, as long as it has anywhere from about 64 gigs of onboard storage to 128 gigs of onboard storage, I'm okay with that. Case in point, my G6 here has 32 gigs of onboard storage. At times, I feel that that's not enough. My Essential phone here has 128 gigs of onboard storage, and I have yet to max this guy out, and I've been using it for about 4 to 5 months. Taking a bunch of video, a bunch of photos, still haven't filled it up yet. So as long as it's anywhere between 64 gigs and 128 gigs of onboard storage, I'm cool. Next, said dream device needs to incorporate the following things. Alright? Number one is it needs to have expandable storage. Alright? Now, I understand most devices nowadays are starting to shy away from expandable storage, but expandable storage to me is a must-have, especially with all of the things that I do on my devices, photo-wise, video-wise, documents, so on and so forth. That micro SD card just comes in handy, and I apologize if it's going in and out of focus, but my dream device needs to have expandable storage. Up next, probably something that I know it's not going to have, but it would be good to see, is a removable battery. You don't know how many times that I've heard horror stories or I've experienced it for myself where I thought my device was going bad and all I needed to do was swap out my battery, like on the Stylo 3 here, or on the Samsung Galaxy S5 that I'm recording this video with. Same thing for the Note 3 here, which also has a removable battery. And one of my favorite devices of all time, the Samsung Galaxy S3, that also had a removable battery. And I did a ton of videos on expandable batteries, on extended batteries for that device. And I really enjoyed that. Now, I broke that, so I was sad to see it go, but we had to move on. But I feel like if a device has a removable battery, that not only increases the versatility, but it also increases the longevity of the device. Because if I know it's a battery issue, I could just jump online and order a new battery, or run down to the store and pick up a new battery, swap it out, and it's like I have a brand new device. Up next, another key feature that said dream device needs to have is a fingerprint sensor. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to have it, but a lot of the devices that I own today incorporate fingerprint scanners, and it's pretty much a really good convenience. It's just real nice to just push the button and be into your device, or just rest your finger on it and be into the device. Now, I don't care if the fingerprint scanner is under the display. I don't even care if it's on the front of the device. It would be nice if it's on the front of the device, because then I could just tap it and be in my device. And that way, if it's flat down on the surface, I don't need to flip it over or put my pattern in. It would be nice if it was on the front, but I'm okay if it's on the rear. And a lot of my main go-to devices have rear-mounted fingerprint sensors, so I'm okay if it's on the rear of the device. It's not a problem for me if the fingerprint sensor is on the rear of the device. It just needs to have one. It's a real nice and convenient feature, and it's a must-have, especially in a smartphone today. Alright, up next, another key feature that my dream device would need to have is a notification LED, as you can see right there. Now, it doesn't need to be multicolored like the Essential phone here. This one has a multicolored LED. It would be nice to have, but as long as it incorporates one, so I can tell at a glance without powering on my device that I have something that needs my attention, I'd be okay with that. So, dream device needs to have some form of LED notification light. It would be really sweet if it was multicolored, but it doesn't have to be. Alright, continuing on with the hardware, let's talk about displays. Now, again, I'd be okay, and I'm sure if you're a returning viewer, or maybe you're new to the channel, I'd be okay if said device had a nice 5.5-inch display. I'm not a big fan of 2K and 4K displays, because I find that in my experience, a lot of those 2K, Quad HD, 4K displays tend to be very power hungry, and they eat up battery life like nobody's business. So a nice 5.5-inch 720p or 1080p display that is optimized to go with the rest of the hardware would be really good to see. So a nice 5.5-inch display. Also, it needs to be a 18:9 aspect ratio display. Again, really good to have that 18:9 aspect ratio. That's the wrong device. Yes, right here. Really good to see that 18:9 aspect ratio device. Now, I don't have a problem with 16:9, but one of the things I like about 18:9 aspect ratios is that it makes the device narrower, which makes the device a little bit easier to use with one hand. Okay? Now, I know a lot of these devices are getting bigger, but we all like big displays. Alright? So your device is going to get bigger if you like big displays. But having an 18:9 aspect ratio device, which makes it narrower and again more one-hand friendly, is a must. So dream device needs to have an 18:9 aspect ratio, and I'd be really happy if it was 5.5 inches at 720p or 1080p. Don't need that Quad HD, don't need that 2K. Up next, let's talk about the cameras. Now, up front, I'd be okay with an 8 megapixel or a 5 megapixel camera. Doesn't really matter, aperture size, all that stuff. Now, I know that stuff is important, okay? Because I know the bigger or smaller the aperture, the better the picture, the more lights it's going to come into the sensor, which means you get a sharper sensor, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm just an average consumer. And all that matters to me is that it be able to take good photos and good video. Because I don't want to miss out on those family moments. And I'm a content creator, so I need good cameras. So as long as the front-facing camera is either 5 or 8 megapixels, and it takes really good 1080p video, or, really good slow motion video at 1080p, 240 frames, 120 frames per second. I'm okay with that. Front-facing flash is a must. Now, I don't take selfies often, but when I do, it tends to be in darker environments, and that front-facing flash really comes in handy. So it would be really nice to see if said dream device incorporated a really nice front-facing flash. Okay, jumping over to the rear. We're going to come back to the front in a second. But jumping over to the rear, now, again, megapixel size means absolutely nothing to me. What really matters at the end of the day is the quality of the sensor and that aperture. You can have, I'm going to just flip because it's getting a little hard. You can have an 8 megapixel camera that takes phenomenal photos. You can have a 5 megapixel camera that takes phenomenal photos. You can have a 13 megapixel camera that takes phenomenal videos. You can have a 12 megapixel sensor that takes phenomenal videos. It does not matter the megapixel size. What matters is the quality of the sensor and the aperture. So for my dream device, all I would really want to see is if it can't be an adjustable aperture, so something that starts out at like 13 megapixels at 1.7 aperture and opens up to a wide angle aperture. Then, you know, if you can't have a single camera that does that and you need to incorporate dual cameras, like on the Essential phone, like on the G6, I'm okay with that. But I'm not a big fan of monochrome photos. Yes, they're nice. It's really sweet to take black and white photos. But if given the choice, I would rather have dual cameras on the rear, one regular size sensor and one wide angle sensor. Okay, if you can't give me an adjustable sensor that can do that. And as long as that rear camera can take real good 1080p video, real good slow motion video, so on and so forth, and has a really good camera, I'm okay with that. Okay, I don't need it to shoot 4K video. It would be nice if it did, because that would future-proof the device, because 4K is the way of the future. We're even going up into 8K and so things like that. So 4K is nice to have. If you did have 4K, if you could do 4K 30 or 4K 60, that would be sweet. But a phone that shoots really good 1080p at 1080p 30 or 1080p 60, that's all I need. And really good slow-mo, because I'm a big fan of slow motion videos. So really good slow-mo at 1080p, 240 frames, 1080p, 120 frames, so on and so forth. I'd be okay with that. Okay? So that does it for the rear-facing camera. And if I didn't say it, laser autofocus is a must. Okay? Laser autofocus is a must. You need that. It just eliminates some of the user error. Now, I don't care if it has optical image stabilization or not. Yes, I know that helps taking better photos. Yes, I know it helps taking better videos. But as long as it has some really good electronic image stabilization, I'm okay with that. If you want to throw in both of them and make it work in a hybrid fashion, sweet. Do that. It's cool. But that pretty much does it for the rear-facing cameras. Okay? So, jumping back to the front here. Alright. So we covered the cameras. The next thing that's really important to consider is the speakers. Even better than speakers is speaker placement. Y'all heard me say in multiple videos, if you're returning to the channel, nothing beats good quality front-facing speakers. the Moto Xperia Edition is the reigning king on my channel for speakers. Okay? Now I know it's not the best, but it's the best I have, and nothing so far in my collection can beat it. Okay? So I'm really tired of these down-facing speakers that are easy to muffle. Sure, they get loud and they're very crisp and clear throughout, but they're easy to muffle. And nothing really beats a front-facing speaker, okay? This right here, this rear-mounted mess, no, get rid of that. Garbage. Too easy to muffle by placing face down, or too easy to muffle while consuming content, okay? And this whole cupping jazz, yes, I know we get used to it, but nah. Shouldn't have no rear-mounted speaker. Needs to be a good quality speaker, and it needs to be front-firing. Okay? So that pretty much covers the hardware. Now, in terms of the chipset, I don't care. Don't care. It doesn't matter. As long as you optimize your hardware and your software to work well with each other, it doesn't matter the chipset. It could be a 600 series, it could be an 800 series, it could be a top-of-the-line MediaTek. What really matters at the end of the day is the overall combination of hardware and software that works together, okay? That is optimized to work together, which equals an overall fluid and fast user experience, which is what we want at the end of the day, okay? And I just remembered I forgot two things in terms of the hardware. Number one, needs to also have that IR blaster. You guys don't know how convenient this was. When manufacturers started to include this, yes sir, so convenient for controlling TVs and IR equipment. It's a must-have. Another must-have, headphone jack. Not only does it come in handy with really good quality headphones, but if you're a content creator like myself, nothing beats having a physical mic. And sometimes the only way you can do that is through the headphone jack. Now I know a lot of these newer devices incorporate their dongles and what have you, but don't nobody want to walk around with a bunch of dongles or have something that could be easily snagged on hanging wires and so on and so forth. Just keep the headphone jack. It doesn't matter where you place it, just as long as it's there. And next, need to incorporate some type of stylus, okay? And you need to have the appropriate features to go along with that stylus as well, all right? So if you're gonna have the stylus, you need to have the appropriate features that lets us do more with the stylus. So sorry LG, yes, you had the stylus, yes, it does come in handy, but your software is just not taking advantage of the stylus the way it should. So if you're gonna incorporate a stylus, you need to give us the ability to take full advantage of it. So Dream device needs to have an IR blaster and needs to have a stylus. The possibilities with those two things are almost endless, okay? So that pretty much does it for the hardware. All right, up next, in terms of the software, now y'all already heard me say it, and I'm a big advocate for it. But if you run in stock software, that is the best. Nothing beats running stock software, because then you know not only will you get timely updates and security patches, but you know that you're starting with a blank slate that you can customize to your heart's content. So nothing beats stock software. Sorry guys, a whole bunch of gestures and all that stuff you can do with your fingerprint sensor, that's sweet and all, but nothing beats stock software. You can throw some of those gestures in, but just give us that blank canvas so we can do with it what we like. And while on the subject of software, you guys need to have timely updates and security patches. Okay? A lot of manufacturers nowadays, they're not giving us those timely updates and security patches. LG, I'm talking to you. Okay? Samsung, talking to you. Okay? So, and a lot of these devices, when we make these major purchases, this is going to be it for a while. We're not going to have money to keep upgrading every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. It's probably going to be it for 2 years, 3 years, maybe 4 if you take really good care of your devices. So manufacturers, please, please, please keep on those timely updates. And, you know, this is where I have to give the shout out to Essential, because not only are they the newer company, but they're also, they're giving you those timely updates. They're giving you those security patches. So if this startup company, if this rookie company can do it, why can't your established players do it as well? So stock software, it can have a little bit of gestures, needs to have those timely updates and those timely security patches. Okay? And I hate to say it again, but I have to make this reference. One of the reasons why Apple does so well, okay, is not only do they come out with quality devices, but they have a good team standing behind those devices so they get timely updates. Devices like the 6, the iPhone 6, the iPhone 6S, so on and so forth. Even the 5 and the 5S got timely security patches and timely updates to where they're running on some of the latest software. The iPhone 6 is running on some of the latest software today. Okay? The iPhone 6, released in 2014, is running on the latest version of iOS. Why is it that we don't have an Android in the space that does that? Okay? We don't even have that from some of these established manufacturers. Like this Note 3 here, this stopped at Android 6. Okay? Yeah. So you need those timely updates and you need those security patches. It's a must. So that pretty much covers the hardware and the software. Did I go over the battery? Battery size, as well as being removable, which is something I would like to see, needs to be anywhere from about 3,500 to 5,000. And another feature I don't know if I covered is you need to incorporate wireless charging. Wrong device. My bad, y'all. You need to incorporate some type of wireless charging, okay? And even better is it needs to be fast wireless charging. One of the reasons why I'm a big fan for wireless charging is because I am disabled. And nothing is more frustrating at the end of a hard day, the end of a long day, when you come home from hanging out with friends or what have you, making whatever money you can on the side, whatever, and you need to plug in your device and it's dark and you don't want to turn no lights on. And the worst thing I've had happen is I trip over some cables. That stuff hurts. But even worse than that is I've broken a port or two trying to plug in my device in the middle of the night. So that's why I'm a big fan of wireless charging. Okay? Waterproofing, not so much. If I spend some decent money on a device, it's not going nowhere close to water. We're going to like a water park with some friends. Yeah, best believe that my phone will probably be turned off that day or in the lockers or what have you. or it would be nice to have the waterproofing, but a lot of my devices stay as far away from water as possible. But it would be nice to see some type of splash resistant nano coating or something like that, because accidents happen. It's called life for a reason. You don't know what's going to happen. So waterproofing would be nice, but wireless charging is a must because it's super convenient. And I don't care what type of charger we have. I don't care if it's USB Type-C. I don't care if it's micro USB. As long as you incorporate some version of fast charging or dash charging, where I can top up my device and go from like 0 to 80 in like 30 to 45 minutes and be on my way, cool. Need to have that fast charging. OnePlus, really like you guys' dash charging. Really good stuff. Can't afford your devices. Was really mad that y'all discontinued some of your older devices, especially when the prices were getting so good on that. But OnePlus has some of the fastest charging available today. So said dream device needs to incorporate some form of fast charging and needs to incorporate fast wireless charging as well, because nothing is easier than having your wireless charger set up, much like you see these stands here, and I just drop it on and it starts charging. Doesn't get any easier than that. No cables to mess with, nothing to trip over. Beautiful. Alright, so that pretty much covers the hardware and the software. Now, before we wrap it up, we covered the cameras. Before we wrap it up, let's go over the build materials. Okay? Yes, I know glass and metal is the new thing now, but man, do I miss this. That grippy black plastic material or leather material that's not gonna slide around, adds that little extra grip in the hands so you don't need a case. I miss that. Now I know on certain devices you can't have wireless charging with this, but you can incorporate some type of material. Oops, buzzing. You can incorporate some type of material to add some extra grip here. Okay, so it can still be wireless charging compatible, but you can have that extra grip on it. So in terms of material, I'm not a big fan of glass, but if it needs to be glass for the wireless charging, I deal with it. Just go grab a case. But if you can find some type of material that adds grip but can still incorporate wireless charging, I would really appreciate that. So, quick recap, then we're going to close it up. So, in terms of the hardware, 4 to 6 gigs of RAM, 64 to 128 gigs of onboard storage, needs to have micro SD card expansion with the ability to make that micro SD card adaptable storage, which means I can make the micro SD card my main storage. Okay, it would be nice to see if removable batteries made their return, and this is where I gotta give a shout out to LG, because they're still making devices with removable batteries, which is really good to see. And I know the G4 is on the Stylo 4 is on the horizon. If y'all make that with an 18:9 aspect ratio display and keep that removable battery, y'all be in business. Removable battery, expandable storage. The battery size has to be at least 3,500 to 5,000 milliamp hours. Good 5 megapixel to 8 megapixel front-facing camera. Dual front-firing speakers. Need to incorporate 1080p video recording with slow motion. Don't need 4K so much. Would be nice to have for future proofing, but don't need it so much. Definitely need to have front-facing flash. Definitely need to have front-facing speakers. Okay? You also need to have wireless charging, and you need to have an IR blaster again, and a stylus with the software to back it up. I always get these mixed up because I have one with the stylus on the bottom and one with the stylus on the top. But you need an IR blaster and you need that stylus. Whoops. Don't need to show all that off. So that's a must. Okay? In terms of the rear-facing cameras, again, really nice rear-facing 13 megapixel sensor. And if you want to double up, give me one regular, give me one wide angle. LG is the best at that. Again, megapixels don't matter so much. What really matters is the sensor and the aperture. So if you can't give me one sensor that adjusts to a wide angle, just give me one 13 megapixel sensor with a 1.7 aperture and give me one wide angle sensor that's the same thing, and we'll be good to go. Again, on the rear, don't need 4K as much. Just need some nice 1080p, 1080p 60, and some slow motion. We'll be good to go. Again, you need that headphone jack, okay? Headphone jack is a must if you are a content creator like myself, or if you're into audio equipment and headphones, then you need that headphone jack, okay? So don't get rid of that, you need that. Fingerprint sensor is a must. The convenience factor, security, and versatility of a fingerprint sensor is a must. Doesn't have to be under the display. It could be on the front or it can be on the rear. Just make sure it's good. 90% accuracy. I'll be happy with that. Okay. LED flash, laser autofocus. Need that. Okay. Now, I think that covers the hardware. Again, don't really care so much about the chipset. It's the optimization with the hardware and the software that really matters, okay? So you could do a Snapdragon 600, you could do a Snapdragon 400, you could do an 800 series. Don't really matter about the chipset. Just get that optimization right. We'll be in business. In terms of the software, again, let me say it one more time. You need to have, at least in my opinion, keep in mind, guys and gals, this whole video is based on my opinion, but you need to have that stock software, okay? Now, you can have your fingerprint gestures and what have you, but stock software allows us users at the end of the day to have a blank canvas that we can do with as we please. So stock software is a must for me. And again, you need to have timely updates and timely security patches, because not everybody can afford to buy a device every 3 months, every 6 months, every year. 2 years is probably the minimum for most blue collar people nowadays. They buy a device, they're going to make sure it's spec'd out to the gills because it's probably going to be their only purchase for 2 years. So you need to have software updates and security patches for at least 2 years. And guess what, y'all? If a new company can do it, we need to start demanding that some of these established players keep their devices up to date. LG, Samsung, talking to y'all. All right? But stock software with a few features thrown in, be all right. Double tap to wake and sleep. Fingerprint gesture features, yeah. All right. But stock software is a must with those timely security updates. All right. I feel like that covers everything. Okay? If you guys and gals enjoyed this video, please help your boy out and give it a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. Also, please let me know down below in the comments what you guys and gals dream device looks like. What type of specs does it have? What type of cameras does it have? What type of features does it have? Let me know that down below in the comments. If you guys have any comments or questions about this video, or any devices that you see in this video, or any devices that I covered, feel free to comment. I do try to get back to those, at least if it's a question, in a timely fashion. If it's not a question, we're all welcome to our opinions. So if you say something and I agree with it, boom. If you say something and I don't agree with it, hey, it is what it is. We're all welcome to our opinions. So questions, comments, leave that down below in the comments. Again, dream device configuration, specs, hardware, software, leave that down below in the comments as well. If you guys and gals can do me a big favor and share this out, because at the end of the day, guys, we're all consumers and we need to get these things in front of the right people's eyeballs so what we want can be heard, or what we feel like we need to have in our devices can be seen and heard by the right people so we get what we want at the end of the day. Because we spend our money on these devices and we want them to have all the features that we feel we need or want, especially in a smart device, because a smart device lets you do just about anything. Okay? So please share this video out. If you found this video entertaining or helpful in any fashion, please help your boy out and give it a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. If you want to see more raw, uncut content like this, because you never really know what's going to happen when I push record, please feel free to hit the subscribe button down below and click off the notification bell icon right next to it so you get notified when I post new videos. If this video has piqued your interest and you would like to know more about any of the devices featured in this video, all links to where to purchase them will be down below in the video description, as well as links to the full reviews and the cases for any and all of these devices will be down below in the video description as well. So if this video has piqued your interest, and you have questions or anything, or you want to learn more about any devices features in this video, down below in the video description is going to be like a one-stop shop for you guys, and you should be good to go. That being said, I hope everyone has a great day. And if you guys and gals know anyone out there looking for the best performing devices and products at the cheapest possible prices, please share with them my channel, because I'm doing this for everyone because we all deserve the best. Alright, I will catch you guys and gals in my next video. Peace. Whew, I think my voice is going out, man. That's way too much talking straight. But it is what it is. Had to vent a little bit. I hope they enjoy it. Peace, everybody.